Hey everybody, I'm Courtney DeFeo, and if you don't know me, I'm a mom and a wife, and I get really excited about great parenting resources. I'm also a writer and a speaker, but when I come across something that I'm really excited about, I love to share it. And sometimes I'll share it on Facebook, sometimes I'll share it on Instagram, but today I'm going to share it in a really fun way in an interview with my friend Jeff Henderson. He is a pastor, he's a dad of two, and he's going to tell you more about his family, but we go way back. We had a corporate marketing job together. And then he was my pastor in Atlanta when I lived there. And so we are not only friends, but we were coworkers. And I'm just excited for you to kind of peek in on a conversation about a project that he's working on. And if you are a parent of a boy, you are going to want to tune in. If they're 15 maybe and below, you're definitely going to tune in. And I'm a mom of girls, but I am interested in this program because I'm going to say my girls have to marry somebody that's gone through this program.
That's
So
awesome.
let me turn it over to Jeff. And Jeff, if you will just tell us about your family.
So as you know, I've got two children, and we're a little ahead of you guys in terms of ages. So my daughter's a senior in high school, so about to kind of enter some empty nesting days, which we're
Praying for you.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. And then my son is a high school freshman. So we started this year with a high school senior and a high school freshman. So
Wow.
we're in transition. You know, life is a collection of seasons, so we're in this kind of transition season. So
Right.
Winnie and I have been married almost 21 years, and she went to Auburn like Courtney. And I went to Georgia like Courtney's husband, Ron.
Love it. All right. Well, tell me specifically as we get into your project, tell me specifically about raising your son and maybe how the original Champion Tribes is what we're going to talk about today. Tell me how that came about with Cole.
Well, we have a mutual friend, David Salyers, with Chick-fil-A. And so David called me several years ago and said, hey, my oldest son is going into the teenage years, and I want to do something for him for a rite of passage. David had been to a bar mitzvah and was so moved by what he saw, and he thought, I'm not really thinking about this. So as Nick's going from 12 to 13, we need to do something. So he looked around and didn't really find a lot of resources. So, David, he just said, I'm just going to make it up. So he made it up. He invited 5 other fathers and their sons around 12 to 13 years old, and they went on a year-long journey together just to try to figure out what's a champion look like in life. How do they handle themselves, leadership, confidence, humility? What does God think about being a champion in life? All of that. So he invited me to come speak at it. He would just have different speakers, and I just was completely amazed by what he was doing. And then they ended this year-long journey with this massive blessing ceremony. They invited all of their families, and the fathers got up and read a blessing over their son to say, I believe in you.
Wow.
And then the sons got up and said, here's what I've learned in this year together. It was a huge celebration. So I asked David, I said, when my son Cole gets to be this age, could we go through this with your youngest son, Daniel? So we decided to do that, and that was 3 years ago, and it was the most remarkable, phenomenal
And how old
experience.
was he again?
He was 12,
12.
turned into
Okay,
13.
got it.
And so we had 5 other sons and 5 other fathers, and we went on a year-long journey. And Cole loved it, the boys loved it, and we had this big blessing ceremony. And we thought that was it. Well, that's pretty cool, that's it. But I kept hearing from other dads when I would, share with this or put something on Instagram, they would say, hey, what is this? Because I have a 12-year-old son, or I have a 10-year-old son, and he's going to be 12 and 13. I want to do something like this. I just don't know how. So David and I were talking, and we said, let's just take what we did and kind of give it to other dads.
So tell us where Champions is now. So where are we now? And is it, tell us a little bit about the program that is and is coming.
We are about to launch, and so we're excited about that. And you know how the launching is. You're always launching. So
Yeah.
You'll launch it and tweak it and all this kind of stuff. But we've created a digital platform so that dads can just connect on their phone, put on the screen, and we actually walk the boys and the fathers through it. So they actually don't have to do a whole lot to be prepared for it. And then there are gifts that reinforce the lessons about humility, about confidence, about respect, that really reinforces these lessons so that the boys will have these gifts really for the rest of their lives. We want to create a family etched heirloom and memory for them.
Okay.
So it's not just a one-night thing. It's not just a couple of times together. It's really it's several month or a year journey together
Okay.
that culminates with a blessing.
Okay, so if I'm a mom or dad, basically what I'm buying is an experience
Mm-hmm.
for my son and taking the think work and the planning out that you guys have done, saying, I want this for my son. I want a time where I can, as a dad, they would be able to like tribe up, basically
Mm-hmm.
get a tribe of 5 friends, 5 sons and their dads, and they're buying this digital experience that would have maybe over a year worth of content, 12 sessions, and they can space it out however.
Right.
And then it comes with the gifts that kind of play in through that. So tell me, by design, wasn't this by design that you kind of did a lot of the think work and planning?
In our mind, we see a dad who just got out of town from a business trip, and we've got Champion Tribes tomorrow night. We don't want him to panic. We share with him, here's what you're going to, so he goes on the digital platform and we say, here's what you're going to do tonight. You just plug this in, here's what we're going to talk about. He watches a 5-minute video, then he plugs and plays, and it's all done for him.
So talk a little bit about some of the topics that come up and how that feeds into just natural conversations around some tough and important topics that they need to have.
So we want to create opportunities for dads and sons to have substantial conversations about humility, about perseverance, about motivation. We even talk about becoming financially free. The other thing is, around this time of his lifetime, these boys are getting their first phone. So in Champion Tribes, we teach the sons, here's how you leverage this powerful tool. But all of that is set within the context of the environment. They have a fun environment, there's a game, there's a movie clip they watch, and then we kind of ease them into the conversation. And then out of that, we give the dad some specific questions to ask about the cell phone. And what we're doing is we're planting seeds that you probably won't see the tree even after Champion Tribe. You'll see some evidence of it, but Nick Salyers, David's son, when he went through the first Champions experience, his story is that when he got to college, he started to notice some of his friends were struggling with things that he wasn't struggling with, and he thought, why is that? And he traced it all the way back to the Champions experience, the lessons that he learned, and the affirmation he got from David. So you're planting a seed that the tree will grow to the college years and beyond. So our hope is, if this works, we would create something very, very similar for mothers and daughters, which we've asked you to be a part of, and my wife Wendy and Jesse and others would be a part of. And the thing that excites me about Jesse is that I'm biased, but I mean, I should be, right? She's my daughter. She has a heart for middle school girls and speaking into their lives, and so she'll be a college freshman soon, and she's gone through this, and so this will be all, and you guys are working on the content right now. Yeah. So our hope is, if this works, next step is for mothers and daughters.
Parents are probably wondering what age child is appropriate for this program.
Well, ideally, anytime a young man has a 12-year-old birthday party, I think they should get this gift. And that's a real pivotal time. They're entering, obviously, they're a year away from the teenage years. So 11 would be okay as well. 11 to 12, 13, or 14. I think that would be a perfect age range.
For call to action right now, depends on when people watch this video, but if it's before the beginning of June, they can go to Champion Tribes and just sign up to be in the loop. So get their email address on there so they are in the loop and they can see some of the details of the program there. But once it's ready and they can buy it, then at that point they need to start gathering their tribe and think about their friends and get ready to get going.
Right.
So it'll be ready early summer, but until then, once we release this, they can go on and sign up and be one of the first in the know. It's Champion Tribes.
ChampionTribes.com.
ChampionTribes.com.
And so what will happen is when they sign up and purchase what we're doing, they'll get this. This box this will come in the mail, and this is what the boys will receive. And all the gifts are in here. There's a medal that they receive at the end. There's a ring that they receive. There's their journal that they receive. There's all the stuff that they get as a result. And so they'll bring this to every session.
Cool.
Then they'll also get access to all the digital content. Then their next step is to see if they can find 5 other fathers or 5 other sons to do this. So go to ChampionTribes.com. This will come to you. You'll get your access to your code. And then here's the cool thing. If you have questions, David and I and Nick, his son, and a few others, we're going to be available when people have questions. Hey, I'm confused. I don't know what to do. We want to make this so we'll have a whole team ready to answer your questions.
Love it. Well, what I'll say about knowing, and I love promoting this and being a part of this, is I know David Salyers because he was my boss at Chick-fil-A. And I know Jeff Henderson because we worked together and he was also my pastor. And so I know a few things. I know quality and I know excellence is the top of their list. And so that will be a part of this program in everything that you see, from the videos to the gifts that you'll get for the boys. But the other thing that's a huge piece and thread through them is their heart. And so their heart for your boys and their heart for the dads will come through in everything that you see. And so that is why I'm so proud to bring you this interview and just tell you that I am 100% behind what they're doing. And again, like I said, my daughters will marry someone that's a graduate of the Chamber Trust program. And I hope that you'll go over and check it out and begin talking with your friends that have boys. Thanks so much.